All right. Let me sound test this real quick. Where's that? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. All right. Let me sound test this real quick. I think everything's fine. I'm using a new mic. I'm using a PlayStation mic. I can't find the mic I normally use, but it's probably somewhere. It's probably somewhere. So, hey, fuck it. Anyways, what's going on, everybody? Who be on deck? Episode 7. Let me share this link out real quick before we get started. I am on my balcony, so there is some noise in the background. I do apologize for that. One second. Yeah, give me one moment. Oh, come on. All right, so I got that done here. Then let me do um, Google Google Plus real quick. Discussion. All right, we're good. How's everybody doing? Who we 186 back again with another live stream. I've been meaning to do this for a couple. Let me get rid of that. I'm sorry, something came up. Dismiss. Okay, yeah. So I've been meaning to do this for a little bit. Just work and everything. I haven't had the time, but now I got time. I'm pretty much off today, so after this, I got a Heat game to watch and see what's popping on YouTube or whatever. If there's any live streams going on that I can catch up with, you know. So, all right. But anyways, I also have some other stuff I'm doing as far as videos concerned later on in the week. Tomorrow, but maybe tomorrow Wednesday I have a couple other videos, wrestling related stuff. So and other sports stuff that I want to discuss. So be on the lookout for that. But anyways, back to the gaming thing. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I know a Monster Hunter World came out a couple days. It's not my type of game, but obviously Monster Hunter is a very big deal, especially in Japan. And apparently, the game's selling very well. A lot of people are a lot. I know it has a 90. I know it had just above a 90 on Metacritic. So, obviously the game is good. So probably the first contender for game of the year. But the game that I bought this past Friday is the game that I want to talk about right now. It's Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which is funny because I kept calling it DBZ Fighters, but apparently it's Dragon Ball Fighter Z. And why does this thing keep popping up? Good lord! All right, get this shit out of here. All right, yeah. So I've been calling it the wrong thing, since launch, since the game was announced or whatever. The game's out. I had the homies over to try it out. It's been a long time since we've all been in the same room, gaming and shit like that. So we got a chance to play it, and it was. I mean, the first impression of the game is awesome. The game's awesome. What I mean, like the game has I think the thing about DBZ fighters is is that the game is so true to what the anime is. You know what I mean? You have, you have the mannerisms, you have the animations are ridiculous. I mean, the game, like I said before, Dragon Ball Fighter Z is the Dragon Ball Z game we've deserved for a long, long time. You know what I mean? And to be frank, there haven't been a lot of good Dragon Ball Z games. Outside of maybe, at least the first good Dragon Ball Z game I played was actually through emulation with Hyper Dimension. It's a Super Nintendo game. It had 12 characters. You know what I mean? Like, it was a good game. It's very hard to play. If you go back and play, it's a hard game to play because it's not. It's even for back then. It's not a traditional fighter. Even for back in the day, it's not a traditional fighter. It plays very different than a lot of fighters out there. But I think the thing that made that game great was one, it was unique. Plus, I thought they did a very good job of source material in that game. Even though the vast majority, I mean, the game was completely in Japanese, so I didn't understand what was being said. But with translation and stuff like that, it seemed to be very true. It stuck true to what the source material is. The other game that I really liked was Budokai 3, right? And that too, I thought, you know, uh, really highlighted the strengths of the anime very well. So to have this game come out, DBZ Fighters, and for it to kind of take what those two games did, and probably some other games like games that I don't that like the Xenoverse games and all the other shit that I don't care about, and take that and really make it put that in a fighting engine like what they did with Arc System Works. It feels perfect. You know what I mean? It feels like I'm not saying the game's perfect, but the action, the animations, the graphics, all of it just feels like it feels like it's Dragon Ball Z. It's like you're playing a Dragon Ball Z game for the first time in a long time. You're playing a legit Dragon Ball Z game, and that to me that's what I like. That's what I love so much about the game is that. So like I said, first impressions, I really like the game a lot. I'm still trying to get used to the controls and stuff like that. I'm still trying to get used to the combos. I haven't done. What I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a Dragon Ball Z video. Oh, what's going on, man? Hey, what's up, Wolflow? Yeah, the game is great, man. The game's awesome, man. I'm telling you, man. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, I would implore you to get the game because the game is not a technical like. It's not one of those fighting games where you have to like. I mean, obviously you have to get deep. You have if to get really good at it, you have to kind of go deep and and learn all the moves and stuff like that. But the game is very easy to get into. It's not a hard game to get into. Absolutely not. It's not a hard game to get into. It's a very it's a I mean I don't want to say casual because I think casual has a very bad connotation in this community, but it's very easy to get into. I mean, my friends were playing, and even though I won all the matches because I'm familiar with the mechanics of the game from playing Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue, but still they both all my friends did very well. So it's not a hard game to get into. So like I said, I'm gonna do a yes, very true, very true, very true. Wolflow. It's a very good entry point for the franchise, and hopefully we'll see more DB Fighter Z. I think it should be called DBZ Fighters. In my opinion, it sounds like a better name. But yeah, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna do a live stream. I'm gonna talk about really go deeper into the game and kind of have more discussions about maybe the future of the game. So so yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do with DBZ Fighter. But overall, first impressions, I really like the game. The only thing that I don't like about the game is the lobby system. I get the idea of what they were trying to do, but I personally would prefer a menu like a basic menu option, like where you have all the game modes and stuff like that that you can have in the game. What how it's done is that first you have to pick a lobby. When you get into the game, pick the region, and then pick whatever lobby you want to get into. It's kind of like a, I guess I think it's called a hub world. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like a little hub world where you have a bunch of avatars running and walking around, and in each area you have like practice mode, local, online, stuff like that. And that stuff is I like the idea is interesting. I think the problem is that when you don't have online access, and we've seen it with PSN, and I'm going to talk about that later. You've seen that with PSN. How is that going to affect the game if there's no online? You know what I'm saying? Like will I be able to display local? You know, I'm just going to be able to display AI in the game, or without the online. That's what I'm interested in seeing. So so like I said, that's really the only thing I don't like about it. Hopefully they. Oh, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna change it because it seems to be a vital part of the game. But hopefully, if I am online, well, actually, yeah, if I am offline for whatever reason, hopefully I can still play at least a portion of the game. So like I said, other than that, the game looks dope. Is the game's awesome. So all right, next thing we're gonna talk about is God of War. Now they released a storyline trailer a couple days ago. I watched it. People saying that was a bit spoilerish, like a little bit, spoilerish. I mean, I understand to an extent, but the thing is that you have to get people to really understand what the story is about. I mean, you have to bring people in, and I'll be honest with you. After watching the trailer, I'm far more intrigued by the story. Even though I got a baseline idea of what's going to happen. I'm more interested in the story this time around. I mean, with the kid, I was it Arteris or whatever his name is. Understanding where his beginnings are from. Trying to understand what's going on with Kratos and everything else. I'm interested in the game. Like I really am. I understand it's a bit of a departure. Uh, I understand it's a bit of a departure in the of the franchise. But like I said, I said this on Twitter. I could have sworn I made a video on this. I'm okay with Santa Monica taking a chance, taking a risk with this game. I'm fine with that because at the end of the day, you want your franchises to evolve. You know what I mean? Like I think most of us, if we got like a basic God of War game, the same thing that we've been playing since the original, I think most of us wouldn't really complain all that much as long as the story is good. I understand that, but they're taking a chance with the game, and I want to give them a try. No, no, Joe, I'm not getting a. Well, I technically I do have a webcam, but you don't need to see my fucking face. You don't need to see my face. Yeah. So like I said, it's a big departure. I understand, and there's some people who are legitimately concerned, and there are other people who are just trolling. You know what I mean? Or just finding ways to hate on the fucking game. You know, or just finding ways to just hate on the game. Me, I am I concerned about some of the changes? Absolutely, I am. Because like I said, like God of War, the gameplay that it was before was very satisfying, it was very fun. You know what I mean? And this one is different. It's very different. And people going on and on about oh, we don't have a jump button and stuff like that. I'm like, I mean, I guess, but I mean, I'm not gonna not play a game because it doesn't have a fucking jump button. You know what I mean? People who bitch about that, they're just bitching just to bitch. It's not. It is what it is. And I saw Blandrew, who I'm cool with. You know what I mean? Shout out to Blandrew. He's saying, oh, people can stop with the whole we need to change bullshit, and pretty much saying pretty much criticizing people who are saying give the game a chance. And I look on Twitter. And unfortunately, I can't do the screen share on Twitter because I don't have the app. I don't have the Twitter app um installed yet. But he pretty much this is the same dude who he's been talking about God of War a lot for a guy who made a chart where he ranked his favorite PlayStation games, and he has God of War at an E. So you're talking about all these changes going on in the game, but considering that the game itself you don't really like all that much because E is a bad score. Is a very bad score. So I'm trying to figure out why are you so concerned about a game you don't like that you didn't like. You're talking about all these changes to the game, but yet what the game was before you didn't like it. How does that make any sense? It don't make no fucking sense to me. Like if I was somebody who didn't like what the game was before, I would be a little bit more interested in what the game is now, considering that it's different. But hey, listen, I'm just trying to talk sense here. So, all right. Well, regardless, at the end of the day, the game's coming out April April 20th, the same day as the Nintendo Labo. So I know it's a bit of a tough decision for some of y'all, and it's a tough decision for me too. Whether I could buy a brand new $60 game or buy $70 cardboard. I know it's a tough decision for some people, but for me, yes, very true, Wolflow. Cardboard is a hell of a drug, but despite the temptations, I'm probably going to buy God of War. So I'm looking forward to that. Now let's talk about Xbox Game Pass. Now, to me, this was the biggest news that happened last week. Now, for those of you who've been living under a rock, Microsoft has this game service where you have it's kind of like Netflix where you have like 100 games at your disposal that you can play anytime you want, just as long as you pay. I believe the cost is $10 a month for Game Pass, and you get you pay $10 a month, you get access to 100 games available right there. Now, the big news that came out of this was that Microsoft was going to put all their first party new release games on the system. So whenever a game releases, it's going to be in there. Now, I to me, like I'll talk about this first, and then I'll let me say this real quick. Do I think that they would have done this if there was guaranteed a Gears or a Halo game coming out this year? Would they have announced this if there was a Halo or Gears game? In my opinion, I don't think so, because those games, while regardless of what you think about the impact those games have now, the fact is that those games are still pretty big deals for Microsoft. They're still big deals for in the gaming industry in general. But do I think that they would have? It's a lot easier to do what they're doing with games like Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, and Crackdown. It's very easy to do it with those games. But it's another thing to do it with your top two franchises. So okay. I have no interest in Sea of Thieves. I really don't. I don't give a shit about it. I watch gameplay. The water looks nice, but that's about it. But at least for me, but if you enjoy it, that's fine. But all right. So do I think they would have done it with the two big franchises? No, I don't. But when it comes to some of their other games, I can understand the idea behind what they're doing. And to be frank, I feel like this is what they wanted to do from the get go when it came to the Xbox One in 2013. You know what I mean? Like turning Xbox into a service where you can play your Xbox games, anywhere, where you can, buy your Xbox games on one device and then play it on another device and then move that game over to another device and stuff like that. That's what I think. Yeah, all right, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I know I understand. The potential is definitely there for the game, but to me, I just watched the gameplay of it and I was just bored. But but yeah, back to what I was saying. I I this is what I think they were trying to do with Game Pass for since 2013. And to be frank, I've seen not tweets but quotes from Microsoft saying that they wanted the Xbox to be an all-in-one, media device, media hub, and you can do that with what they're doing with Game Pass and what they're doing with digital games and stuff like that. Like it doesn't really necessarily surprise me that they're doing this, because I feel like this is what they wanted to do from the get go. I think some people, I guess, I don't like when it comes to what the potential benefits or the potential harms that it does. I mean, from a consumer standpoint, I don't see how this is a bad thing for gamers. I don't, because to me, I already feel like Game Pass is already a lot better than PlayStation Now. Mainly due to the fact that one is stream and one is legit. Like, I guess you could say legit. Um, like I just feel like the in the price and the value of it is better. I don't see how this is a bad thing, to be honest with you. I think it devalues their exclusives. I mean, I can understand both sides of it, but the problem is, the thing is that if a game is not, if you don't predict the game to be a huge seller, wouldn't it be a better idea to give people a cheap entry route to the game, and if they like the game, they'll probably spend more money on it or whatnot. Now, according to what I think Phil Spencer said this, that the games that are exclusive to Microsoft, the new releases, they're gonna be on there at launch, and they're not gonna go and they're not gonna get out. Now, apparently, what they do, they kind of swap out games, a couple games here or there. And to me personally, I think that's a mistake, because in my opinion, I think you have to give people an incentive to buy the service, right? Like, to me, I think you have to really get people into buying the service. So let's say okay, let's say, for example, hypothetical, Halo 6 comes out, right? And it's out on Game Pass. You can, you pay $10 for the service. You can buy it. You can own Halo 6. But the caveat is, it's only going to be available there for, like, let's say 2 weeks, right? It's there for 2 weeks. If you don't get it in 2 weeks, then you have to pay the full $60. In my opinion, I actually think that is incentive to, at least for me, incentive to buy the service. I think Microsoft have to do what they need to do is incentivize people to buy the service. I understand, you rather have a collection of games on there than just, kind of forcing people to get the service just to play one game. But in my opinion, if you want to incentivize people to buy the game, you should be able to give them an incentive and give them time give them a timetable for the incentive. Like Halo 6, you can play the game for $10 a month, but you have to get it within 2 weeks or else it's over. That's essentially how I got my PlayStation. Like, with my PS4, right? I got the PS4. I'd probably say 2015. I think. Yeah, in 2015 I bought the PS4. Originally, I planned on buying the PS4 in the summer of 2015. I bought it in spring. The reason why I jumped at getting the PlayStation was because Rocket League was a free game for the month, and that was and this is how much I was into Rocket League before I got the PS4. With Rocket League, like I heard interviews with the developer, and guys like Colin Moriarty was going ham on the game, saying that, oh, this game's awesome, this game's fun and stuff like that. And I seen gameplay of it; it looked fun, and I see that when it was released on PlayStation, it was gonna be free for the month. So I'm like, oh man, I really do want to get the game. And yeah, I understood that I could have gotten the I understand I could have gotten the game, gotten it, so when, let's say, if I decided to buy the PlayStation in the summer, I still would have had the game to download. But you know, Hard 8 was selling his PS4 at the time, so I really pretty much jumped at the opportunity, and that's pretty much how I got the PS4. That's pretty much how I got my PS4 was, Hard 8 was buying the game, and I pulled the trigger because I wanted to. I wanted to get I wanted to get Rocket League for free. You know what I mean? I mean that's an interesting point, Wolf, and you're not the only one that's made that has made that distinction about Xbox Game Pass. A lot of people see this as them devaluing their exclusives, and especially when you look at a game like Sea of Thieves, you look at. I mean, I haven't seen any gameplay of State of Decay 2. I haven't seen anything, and obviously we all know how Crackdown 3 looked. With their review reveal before they pushed it back. You know, I mean, I don't know, man. Like I've always said that Microsoft's greatest weakness is their first party offerings. Outside of Gears, Halo, and Forza, they everything else is pretty much hit or miss. And this generation has been mainly misses. Outside of a few indie games, and those indie games are not made by Microsoft. Cuphead, Ori and the Blind Forest. I think Max and the Cursed Brotherhood was another indie game that did very well on Xbox. Like outside those games, and obviously Gears, Halo, and Forza, like everything else is not. It's feel like everything else has been kind of having either that was not good critically or didn't perform well as far as commercially. So yeah, man. Like for me as a consumer, I see this as a good thing. I know some of my PlayStation buddies have said that hey, it gives them more money. It saves them more money to buy a PlayStation game. So, I mean, I guess me personally, I just like physical media too much to kind of jump in at it. I already bought. I have Halo 5. I have Sunset. Well, I had Sunset Overdrive. I passed it. I beat the game and then I traded in. Um, I have Halo. I have Gears, or which is with digital. I have Gears digital. Um, I have Dead or Alive. I don't know if that's on there, but I have my Xbox One physical media list is growing by the day. You know what I mean? So like me personally, I'm just always gonna be a physical media type of guy. Is what I grew up on. I grew up on midnight releases, going out to a store and buying games. And I understand that, digital games are more convenient. I get that, but there's something about physical media that I just can't get away from. So, Xbox Game Pass is not necessarily for me, but I can understand. But as a value to customers, me personally, I see it as a good thing. I can't really hate on them for that. Um, is there anything else that had to do with Game Pass? No, I think that's about it. Before I go, I just wanted to talk about this real quick. PlayStation Network. Been a tough week for PSN. Which is weird because to me, I only dealt with okay. According to what I saw on Twitter, four times during this past week. Now, I've only been affected by one of those times. I believe it was a Friday morning where I really couldn't when I couldn't go online. Um, for me, like the thing with PSN is that for 2011, when the PSN outage happened in 2011, that will always be on the back of people's minds, right? When PlayStation Network goes down, it's always 2011. What happened? What happened? What happened? And plus, there's a stigma that is around PSN that the servers are unstable and stuff like that. Now, I'm not here to damage control this or nothing like that. All I can speak to is my experience with PSN. And outside of, I'll probably say 2 to 3 times that I've dealt with PSN, at least on the PS4. I've had outside of 2 or 3 times where the servers were down or whatever. I haven't had a problem with PSN. When I'm online, I kind of what I do is if I play a couple matches online, I'll do that. If I talk to people, which is not often, if I talk to people online, I can hear them. I don't you like PSN for the most part does a job. You know what I mean? Like I don't. Yeah, that's Yeah, that's true. I mean, we do have offline games. So like I do, I have offline games. But for me, like when it comes to online, like everything that it needs to do, it does. You know what I mean? The one thing I hate about PlayStation is the in console store. That store is fucking trash. Completely another trash. Like every time I click, it's a crapshoot whether or not the fucking store is gonna load. It's a crapshoot, and yes, it is better than the PS3 store. But you know what happened? You know what the PS3 in store had that the PS4 store had? Every time I clicked on the PS3 store, it loaded slowly, but it loaded. This thing, it like is a crapshoot for the PlayStation store whether or not it's gonna open up. I have to go to my fucking app to download either download games, download DLC or whatever. No, I shouldn't have to fucking do it. The only time I should have to go to my app to buy anything is if I'm not physically in front of my PS4, right? Any other time, if I want, let's say if there's a game that's out that I want to at least buy it digitally, I should be able to go to the store with ease and buy it. That's it. Like with the Xbox store, it like the Xbox store is not perfect either. I hate the layout of the Xbox store, but you know what? Any game that I bought on there, I was able to do it with ease. Well, outside of a few times, like I will admit, there was a few times where it fucked up on me where I had to go to the store. But that's true, man. That's true. And that's true. I mean, but to be fair, for me, I haven't beat Horizon Zero Dawn yet, so I fall into that category. But I haven't. I don't bitch about content or nothing like that. It's a big game. It's a long game, so so I can't be too hard on people. Um, yeah. So like back, I was saying, right? Like to me, like as far as PSN goes, like I like for me, like it's not a big deal to me. Like PSN, it worked. The vast majority of the time, it worked. The only people who say it don't work and is always down are Xbox fanboys. That's the only people who say it is. Who say it because why? Because they can always use 2011 as their trope, as their main reason why they don't trust PSN. Now again, I'm not saying PSN is perfect, but I'm just stating facts here. Outside of this week, I mean, has anyone bitched to complain about PSN and allergies or anything like that? No, no. They're arguing over resolution. They're arguing over media bias. They're arguing other stupid shit. You know what I mean? But when PSN goes down, you're always gonna have the tweets from the Xbox dudes and stuff like that. So yeah, that's true. That's true. And even some people, especially from Nintendo dudes who stay stuck on 2000, I think it was 2005 with that Killzone footage. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it is, man. Like I mean, when it comes to console war stuff, you know what I mean? They have to use the company's worst moment to use it against them. That's what they do. I mean, PlayStation dudes stay getting on Microsoft for 2013. Like that it was like almost 4 years ago. And people are still talking about 2013. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it is. But regarding PSN, like outside this week, I mean, I haven't had any issues. Every time I gone home, I was able to I was able to connect online. That was really it. You know what I mean? And I mean, some people, I feel like the same people every time PSN goes down, the same people I see on my Twitter timeline, bitch, you complain about it going down. And I'm like, guys, y'all niggas don't work. I mean, you guys don't go to work, like, cause most of the time, whenever PSN goes down, right? Like, let's say, it'll go down in a year. Let's say it goes down like 10 times, right? 10 times a year, right? Let's hypothetical number. I will probably be home for like one or two of those times when it goes down, right? Because either I'm at work or I go somewhere. Some of these dudes always complaining about PSN going down. I'm like, you guys don't work? Like you go where you guys go? You guys aren't working? There was one time when PSN was down for like I'll probably say like 9-10 hours. Right? It was on one of my days off. That was unacceptable. That pissed me off. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to play some games online. That pissed me off. But that was really the only time that I've dealt with that. You know what I mean? And the same thing goes for Xbox Live. Like, Xbox Live, if it goes down, if it ever went down, more than likely I'm not home. Like I'm not home. You know what I mean? Like I'm either doing something or I'm playing on the PlayStation. Like people, I mean, this the thing is that people just bitch, complain to complain. Honestly, I don't see what the big deal is when it comes to PSN. Now, I did see that because of the instability of the network over the past week, that the FIFA World Championships had to be moved from the PlayStation to the Xbox. And to me, like it is what it is. I don't feel bad for these FIFA players because at the end of the day, here's how I look at it. Right, if you're good enough to play the game on one platform, you should be able to play the game on all platforms, unless the controller is so much different for you. Like for me, I game on both, right? And I'll use myself as an example. I have Pro Evolution Soccer on the PlayStation. I have FIFA on the Xbox, right? What I wanted to do, I first what I wanted to do, I wanted to change the FIFA controls to control like PES. It have the same button layout as PES. But then I'm thinking to myself, man, I don't want to fucking do that. You know what I mean? So what I did, I decided to turn it back to default, and I just played FIFA. You know what I mean? I just play FIFA with the default controls on the Xbox controller, and guess what? I'm getting better at it every single day. So if these FIFA dudes, if they claim to be so fucking good, you can adapt from a PlayStation controller to an Xbox controller. You know what I mean? Unless you have some weird, stupid way you you know press buttons and shit like that, they should be able to adjust. You know what I mean? So, in me personally, it's not a big deal, but obviously, it's not a good thing for Sony. But I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Everyone has their own different experiences. For me, I'm fine with PSN. You know what I mean? There's definitely some improvement that they can make. Obviously, you know what I mean. For one, you can you know have more flexibility when it comes to digital titles, and have people change their PSN names. You know what I mean? But other than that, I don't have any issue. It's not a problem for me. So yeah, that's about it. I actually expected this to go on longer than it did. You know what I mean? I think I've been on for like about 50 minutes. So I mean, like I said, I do have some other content coming for you in the next couple of days. Definitely, we'll talk about Ronda Rousey. We'll talk about Stipe versus Cormier. What else did I talk about? And obviously, I guess we'll talk about the Super Bowl also. I guess. But anyways, until then, this is Hoovy 186, and I am out. Peace.